Today we're going to do another Voice Coach Reacts To video, and this week I've got something special for you. Ed Sheeran's brand new video, Bad Habits. Now, the very first one that I heard was a full production sound which sounded very much like a pop song.
Bad habits lead to late nights sitting alone.
But what I love about Ed Sheeran is the way that he can just stand on a stage and play the guitar and sing like an angel, and that's enough. So I'm going to show you that version today. Let's dive in. Beautiful. That was the verse. Now I love breaking the songs down for you by verse, chorus, and the arrangement of the song so you can tell exactly what's going on in the song itself, plus what he's doing vocally and stylistically in each piece. Now the beginning, I love Ed Sheeran because he's got this natural, beautiful style. He's not affecting his voice in any way at all. It's what we call in contemporary music a narrow pipe. So if you can imagine your throat muscles here, if I widen my pipe, I can make a very fat sort of sound. He's not doing that. He's doing the opposite of a wide pipe. He's doing a narrow pipe.
I can feel the paradise before my world implodes.
So he's making everything quite slim in the throat muscles, so we don't have a lot of space in the vocal tract to make it fat. He's doing that for a very poppy sound, which I absolutely love. When he first started, it was very understated. It was almost like just speaking on pitch, very relaxed in the way that he did that. And then when he started to go a little bit high, then you can hear the pull a little bit as the voice box was rising up. Then there was this beautiful section where he jumped up and went through,
For my world implodes.
like a little break section to jump into his falsetto, in inverted commas, where he did that high bit. I love it when pop artists use the break. The break usually is used in this way for an effect. It's not an accident. Some people, when they speak really badly and they don't have really good control over their voice breaks all the time. But this particular way, it's a sudden closure of the vocal folds into thick vocal fold closure, and then a sudden release of that pressure into thin vocal fold closure to allow the voice to go up into falsetto, or what is technically known as M2, which is thin vocal fold closure with a high airflow. That's what I love about his voice, is he continually goes up and down through both M1, the lower range, and M2, the higher range. He goes straight back into that introduction with the ooh again. He did a double chorus straight away, which is really interesting because mostly in pop music you do a single chorus at the beginning and then you might do a double chorus at the end, or a triple chorus at the end with a key change. What I find most interesting about Ed Sheeran's voice is his experience. You can hear in the way he sings, just with an acoustic guitar and his voice, that he has complete command over his instrument. It's not breathy, it's not wobbly, there's no pitchy sort of things going on. The resonance is right there. He's riding on that resonance all the time, and that makes a massive impact in the entire song. He's not one of those artists that needs to hide behind layers and layers and layers of production. He's not. He can stand there on a stage with a guitar and sing and make you melt. It's awesome. Let's move on. Oh my God, the way he just sails up his range is just beautiful. There's not many guys that can actually do that. I know that there is a definite transition that you can hear, and there's nothing wrong with that because it's pop music, and let's face it, anything goes in pop music. If this was musical theatre or in classical, you would not be allowed to hear that break because it's not the way that they're trained. It's meant to be seamless. But in pop music, you can do anything. The great thing about Ed Sheeran's voice is that he's adding these little nuances that make him feel that he's being more emotive with the music. So when he's singing low,
when the good times start,
he's adding a tiny bit of vocal fry at the bottom, or a creak, and that just means that he's gone into a very slow, heavy vocal vibration, and he's allowed his false vocal folds, which are little flaps of skin on the outside of the true vocal folds, to sort of collapse over the true vocal folds like that, to add a little bit of passion and sound like I'm really depressed and I'm really upset that you're leaving. It's a sound that we use. I don't know how to. If we do that when we're singing or speaking, it gives us that emotional quality. It gives us that drag to the voice that's very different to the free sound that classical singers sing with. His is just emotive. That's the best way to put it. So he's using a little bit of vocal fry at the bottom. He's using a bit of cry, cry. So if you do that with your voice for a second, oh, you know how children do that? Dad, can I have an ice, please? Can I have an ice cream? It's called a cry or a whine. The cry gives that emotive sensation to some of the words. Let's move on. Double again. You can tell that this is a really good, strongly written pop song, very much with themes and loops. So you've got the ooh section, which is the introduction, then you've got the verse, then you've got the double chorus, back to the ooh introduction again, then verse, then double chorus, back to the oohs again. So he's got this formula, winning formula for pop music that works every time. And when he did that double chorus, again, it was exactly the same. So he didn't do any riffs or runs or anything different yet. So let's see what happens next, which would be really interesting. But what I loved again is he added a tiny little bit of pull, like a cry and a vocal fry at the bottom in the middle of the chorus again. Very subtle, but all it does, again, is it just adds more emotion. That's what we want in pop music. You don't want to sing perfectly. There is no perfect. You don't want to sing everything note perfect. It's boring. What he's doing is interesting. He's bringing life to those lyrics. Instead of just speaking it or singing it perfectly, he's singing it with emotion. Pop music is not meant to be perfect. It's meant to be interesting and different and human. It's meant to be sung by anyone. That's why it's called popular music, and it can be sung by anyone. Let's move on and see what happens. The last voice coach reacts to, we were talking about the construction of the entire song. So this is very, very common in a pop song. It's called a middle eight. And this is a perfect name for this particular part, or a bridge. Sometimes they call it a bridge. But in this, it's a middle eight. Because a middle eight means that there's 8 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. There's 8 measures of music that are completely different to the verse and the chorus and the intro. Very different. It takes you somewhere else. It usually changes key and does something completely different. That's what he did in that section. He broke it down and did something completely different. So it was surprising. It's great. Now let's see. I think he goes into another double chorus. Let's see if he mixes it up this time and does something interesting with the last chorus in the acoustic version. Nice, and his guitar playing is so beautiful. You. Oh, nice. Cool. Hear that? He just walks off and goes, cool. That is so beautiful. It looked like they just set up in an old shed or something with light coming through the windows and everything was blacked out. And he just sang and played the guitar for 3.5 minutes. That's Ed Sheeran. He's talented, he's gifted, he's skilled, he's practiced. He's an expert at what he does. That's true mastery. I hope you enjoyed the video today. I'm Elisa James, Holistic Voice and Presentation Coach. I'll see you next time. Make sure you remember to comment below and let me know what you would like me to react to next. I'll see you then.